I think that the issue this current generation of gaming is having is the proliferation of games that are just fads. They're games that blow up quickly and then disappear just as fast as they came in. And I know that this is going to piss off a lot of fans of certain video games, but I need you to understand this, so I'm going to spell it out for you very, very carefully. So follow along with me. Just because it's a fad does not, I repeat, does not mean that the game is bad. Okay? And it does not mean, I repeat again, it does not mean that I am bashing or hating on these games. Are we in agreement? Games that are fads are not bad. It's a matter of their popularity exploding quickly and then fading fast. None of that means bad. Fad does not equal bad. Calling a game a fad does not mean I am bashing the game at all, and calling it a fad does not mean that I hate the game at all. Okay, everyone got that? I hope so. So what would I consider a fad game? Well, it'd be a game that blows up in popularity and then quickly dies off, but not stopping others from trying to copy that success. Like Tamagotchi, and I was there when they first came out, and I know a lot of my audience wasn't even born when it was a huge craze that it was. There was Tamagotchi, Gigapets, Dinky Dino, and there were other virtual pets as well. Bandai, who released Tamagotchi, even released Digimon, but then the virtual pet fad disappeared very quickly. Tamagotchi comes back every once in a while, but it's nowhere near as popular as it was. Same with Digimon, but that has other problems. Mostly mishandling of the series. Let's go with probably the first one that comes to mind. Goat Simulator. A game that was pretty much programmed to be bad, but in a funny way. It became a huge hit with Let's Players and around the YouTube community, and it spawned so many other simulator games. Grass Simulator, Rock Simulator, Bear Simulator, Loading Screen Simulator, Fart Simulator, I wish these were jokes. All these games that copied that Goat Simulator feel, they're super cheap to buy because they're supposed to be funny or ironic, when they're really just stupid clones. Let's look at Minecraft. It blew up in popularity due to YouTube. There's tons of merchandise. There's conventions. There's Yogcast, of which I'm not entirely sure of what it is, but I do not care at all, and I just know it's got something to do with Minecraft, or had to. Again, I don't care, so no one needs to inform me. Then there's Tube Heroes, which I'm assuming is a similar thing. All I know is I saw toys of it in Walmart, and it looks like it has to do with Minecraft. I don't know, I could be wrong, and I don't care. But now, Minecraft is not as popular as it was. And if Microsoft didn't buy it for, what, $3 billion as its popularity was fading, and push it as hard as they do, then it would have faded from the public eye and then regulated to its own little spot on the internet. Even LEGO got in with it with licensed sets, and then years later are trying their own Minecraft thing with LEGO Worlds. And then there's another game like Minecraft, almost exactly like it. I forgot the name, but I just remember that it's free to play on Steam, and it wasn't bad. Then there's Five Nights at Freddy's, another game that blew up due to YouTuber influence. I think the only reason why it stayed as relevant as it did was because the creator Scott Cawthorn kept pumping them out so quickly. There wasn't that many copycats of it that I know of. There was Case Animatronics, which was like a first-person version of it, but now the whole series is kind of regulated to its own little fan base and its own little section of the internet. And the merchandise for it, and there is a lot of it, pretty much on par with Minecraft's, just sits on shelves and collects dust in retail stores. And then there's PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Blew up like crazy because of the Battle Royale gameplay, and it got really popular with Twitch streamers, and then Epic Games swooped in, pulled the rug out from under its feet and is using it as a cape. And now, at time of writing, Fortnite is the big battle royale game that everyone is playing and everyone is watching being streamed. And because this whole battle royale thing is popular, there's so many developers jumping in on it. There's a game called Radical Heights that's coming out or is already out depending on when you're watching this, and you know Activision is going to add a battle royale mode to the next Call of Duty or make one of their own well after the genre's popularity has disappeared. After all, they were shoehorning in zombie modes because it was popular at the time. I get that you have to strike when the iron is hot, but all that happens is that the market gets saturated as everyone tries to make money on the current fad. Remember Guitar Hero and Rock Band? Activision killed off the entire music genre. Activision pretty much killed off Guitar Hero because they had the genius idea to release a whole bunch of Guitar Hero games in 1 year. Everyone got tired of it and they said, you know what, we're done. Remember the big MMORPG boom? EverQuest used to be the king, then Final Fantasy XI came along and the two seemed to run side by side. I don't know, I didn't play MMOs at the time, but then World of Warcraft came in, kicked them in the nuts, and took the throne. Then everyone had to try and make an MMO, but none were as successful as World of Warcraft, and it caused them to adopt a free-to-play model. Rift, Star Wars, The Old Republic, and WildStar all had a subscription model, but most people only played WoW and weren't going to pay for subscriptions for more than one MMO. So the question is, what game is the next fad? I feel bad for these games, because they won't have that staying power. They won't reach the status that Mario, Sonic, or Final Fantasy have. They won't become those legendary icons that we have in gaming. Games like Call of Duty and Battlefield are still around because they keep pumping out sequels, and the thing keeping them relevant is the herd mentality of, I need to buy this so I can play with everyone. And I wonder if in 10 years, Five Nights at Freddy's will be able to stand among gaming icons like Mario, even though it's been described as the game Red Light Green Light, just full of jump scares. I think it kind of deserves it. I would not want to see it tossed to the side of, oh, it was just a fad and no one cares about it in 10 years. Game franchises with sequels or expansions are kind of exempt from this because they keep going. But you can always tell a game that's going to be a fad is when there's just one and it's done. There may be a few updates, but nothing much else comes from it. But everyone and their mother tries copying it. And these are the games that mostly need to survive on a thriving player base. Otherwise, you get Battleborn, a game that takes like an hour to find players to set up a match, and that game didn't last all that long. It was pretty much dead on release because everyone was into Overwatch, which is now king of the first-person team-based shooters. Look, I can rattle off games that were trying to get into fads, or ones that started the fads, or whatever, and we'd be here all day. Pretty much the fourth generation, fifth generation, pretty much the entire fourth generation had nothing but Sonic clones. For a footnote version, just look at all the 16-bit games that were mascot platformers that came out after Sonic, and you'll get the idea. The bad thing that comes from it is the oversaturation of the market, which only kills off the fad even faster. Granted, people are a lot more well-informed than they used to be, and eventually the top game of the fad rises above, becoming that one that stays around, which for the Battle Royale is currently Fortnite. And I think Fortnite has more staying power than PUBG due to its art style and free-to-play status and what other little things. I've only played Fortnite once, so I'm not 100% sure, but you could tell that it's going to be more successful than PUBG. And the really funny thing from all this is the attitude it created for the PUBG developers who are suing Chinese developers for copying their game on mobile devices like they were the ones that created the genre in the first place. Which you can argue that games like DayZ and Rust did the same exact thing years before them, just not as refined. The PUBG developers are even using the frying pan melee weapon as evidence that the developers in China are copying them, completely ignoring that the frying pan is a melee weapon in Team Fortress 2 or used by Peach in the Smash Bros. Games. That's just grasping at straws right there. But indie developers getting massive egos from what's really a drop in the bucket when compared to other developers is a rant for another day.